Thank y'all for having me this morning. I'm super excited. I'm gonna focus on friendship. And the last time I was in this location, as far as I can remember, was 10 years ago.
Hi! Okay, I'm so excited to be here, and you might not be able to tell because my Botox is like frozen my forehead, but I am excited.
And I was speaking to a group of moms about friendship. Now, some things have changed. Now I don't have my uterus and my ovaries, but other than that, we're still talking about friendship.
I'm sorry I laughed at you.
I'm sorry I called you fat.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
How many of you guys can relate, and how many of your daughters can relate? Sometimes it's confusing to know who has our back and who doesn't have our back. How many of y'all have had a friend for 10 years? 15? 20? 40? 45? Okay, that's a long time. I won't make y'all go any higher than that. Friendships can last a long time. And when we look at statistics, you guys, when we look at the divorce rate, and we look at life expectancy, we need our friends. We, in general, not all the time, outlive the men. Or if we look at divorce rates, we might not stay married. Or we might not stay married again, or we might not stay married again. We need our friends. I think friendship is so important. It's just as relevant, if not more, now than it was 10 years ago when I was in this room. After everything we've been through with COVID and just life. Share with you guys a little bit about my friendship messaging and my friendship experience. My parents got divorced when I was in 3rd grade. Dad moved to a different city. At that point, I took on this fear of abandonment, which I didn't even know. I'm little, I have no clue, and fear of rejection, which I actually would carry into my friendships, which we'll get to. I received some messaging of not to depend on anyone, not to give my heart away, believe that no one cared about my problems, so we don't talk about problems. These are the messages I got. Girls are competitive. No one's really happy for you. That's not reality. This is my belief system in friendship. Limited role modeling. And so we were talking about the power of our words. What are our daughters or our sons grasping almost by osmosis from us with our words and what we're saying? What kind of modeling are we giving them in friendship? These fears led to all or nothing thinking, unmanaged emotions, internalized hurt. I would misread cues. I would assume someone was rejecting me, and so then I would reject them first, and that would protect myself. So I never really got close to anyone until a very long time. Why would we choose toxic friendships? Codependency, fear of rejection. We can read this list: poor modeling, rescuing. From my codependency, I wanted to fix everybody. Learned that we cannot fix our friends. Self-worth, I had low self-worth. I wanted to control because I had fears. Encouraging you guys right now to kind of think about your first friend, your friendship messaging that you've had throughout your life. If we have trustworthy friends, and some of us might be more secure in giving our hearts to people and being vulnerable than maybe others. This is the cool part. Y'all, we can change our minds. We can change our brains, even scientifically. I had that rut of the fear of rejection, and so I had these tapes that I would play. Let's say someone walked in a room and they didn't come say hi to me and they ignored me. I would be like, great, she's mad at me, I said something wrong. I've learned how to retrain my brain. I'm still learning. We form neural pathways. Have y'all learned about neural pathways? Yes. And so literally our thoughts can form ruts. We can replace these with healthy thoughts. My girlfriend taught me, she goes, when you walk into a room and these girls are talking in the corner, instead of assuming they're talking about you, assume they're planning your surprise party. I was like, that is the best strategy ever. So now if they're over there talking, literally, I've formed a new rut where I'm like, I bet they're planning my surprise party. And it doesn't get to me because there's really nothing I can do about it if they are talking about me. We can form healthy ruts that replace our unhealthy ones. And the most beautiful thing is friendships can help us replace toxic patterns with healthy ones. We are created to be with one another. Healthy friendships are so essential for us. They really sometimes can save our lives. I don't know if I want to live anymore. Literally, I was in postpartum. I couldn't see it. From my hormone imbalance to my circumstances, and I needed a girlfriend to remind me, no, wait. This is not realistic thinking. I want you to text yourself some strengths, at least 3, that you feel like you offer your friends that are around you. For some of you guys, you're like, let me think. Where others are like, oh, I know, I'm fun, I'm encouraging, I keep secrets, whatever that is. Knowing what we offer and what we need for our hearts. Mental health, well-being can become life-changing. We want to identify our friends' needs and what we need, which traits are toxic for our mind, heart, and emotions and growth, and which ones we need in our life to help us avoid unhealthy entanglements. When you think about that list, save that for when you're having a hard day. We can be lousy sources of truth for ourselves at times. And this is why friends need to remind us of our strengths too. I want you to text yourself, when you're in friendships, what do you need to feel safe? What you need to feel vulnerable, and then what you need to feel valued and respected. And because I wrestled with that fear of rejection and that fear of abandonment, I didn't know what this was for me until I learned what my heart needed.
Trust, empathy, kindness.
Love it. Trust, empathy, and kindness.
Confidence and trust.
Loyalty, confidence, and trust. And so I think it's interesting because she said all three sections were the same, where for me, mine were different. And for me to trust, I needed this, or for me to feel valued, I needed this. Thank you for sharing. We all have the same basic needs. Every person on this planet, for love, significance, and security. So our friendships can either underpin this and support these needs that we have, or threaten them. So we want to think about the friendships that are closest to us. Are they underpinning these needs that we have? So we're going to look at which friendships contribute to our basic needs and which friendships we might want to be aware of. Back to your phones, the 5 friends that you've been spending the most time with lately. 5 friends in general that you're hanging out with and choosing to spend your time with, your free time. I want you to think about how you feel when you leave their presence. We want to be careful. We don't want to judge and be critical. We are just making an assessment of how we're spending our time and investing. You just had coffee with someone yesterday. When you left, you're like, I feel like kind of crappy. We sat there and talked about Melinda. Is anybody named Melinda in here? Oh, sorry, Melinda. But you feel yucky, like I feel yucky that I left. Or I went and had coffee and we talked about Melinda, and I feel so encouraged because she's doing so well and I'm excited for her life. Think about how you're leaving someone's presence if they are a friend. What are they pouring into you? I would leave coffee sometimes, you guys, and feel really paranoid because I'm like, okay, well, you're talking about her, about this. There's no telling what you're saying about me. Or you're passive aggressive and now I'm paranoid. You're not going to be telling me if you have issues with me. And I want you to think about, how do others feel, do you think, when they leave your presence? Have y'all ever thought about that? If you go have coffee with me, I want to be cognizant of what you're going to leave with. Am I encouraging you? Am I building you up? Am I complaining? Am I even asking you about your life? Hopefully I'd ask Melinda about hers. Do I want it to be reciprocated? Or am I going to vent and it's all, now sometimes, trust me, we just need to vent and I'm going to take up all your time. But patterns in general, am I paying attention to reciprocating? Am I asking you about your life? Do I really not want to hear about your life? Kind of don't really care, but I want you to hear about my problems in my life. Now we're evaluating, okay, these are kind of the people that are in my life and then I'm choosing, what if I'm in this toxic pattern? We're going to look at the 3 most common types we are going to be with in our life. The conflict avoidant friend, the great escaper. I have had an issue and I need to call you and talk this out, and they literally will not have it. It is like, let's divert. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not addressing it. Or they might listen to me, but there's never a true apology. It's kind of like, can we just get through this? Abandoners, conflict avoidant friends, really don't have authentic closeness with people because they haven't worked through addressing a major component in friendship. They're looking for shallow acquaintances. And sometimes you'll even notice that in their marriages, they don't really work through conflict. So it's not just us. So we can't really get close. And so they're fearful of closeness, kind of sometimes expect you to be perfect because then you're not going to rock the boat and mess anything up. So you don't have to deal with anything if you're perfect. But I also want you to think about yourself. As we're thinking about our friends, maybe I'm the conflict avoidant person. And I don't want to be like that anymore because I do want to have some deep friendships. The evaluator, because they are critical of everyone. I mean, literally, it's like, can you at least say something nice instead of picking apart her outfit? They confront error. They always have an opinion. I will tell y'all though, they're fun to be with because they're knowledgeable. I mean, these critical people pay attention to everything. So you can go there for information, but they're not afraid to divide the group. They're not fearful of any of that. They sound very convincing and very believable because they've done the observation to where they kind of know what's going on. They will speak the truth, but it won't be from a heart of love. They'll act like a parent more than a friend. The agendas are always fun. Don't y'all love agendas? They're confronting errors without genuine connecting. Love, compassion, and forgiveness aren't prioritized, but they are a great go-to for information because they do take time to research. But it's hard when you feel like they might be critical of you as well. We have the super fun entertainer. Okay, we love these friends. They are so fun. We find that we make excuses for them and we give them a chance after a chance. They're the ones that, you know, they might show up, they might not. They might be a little flighty, but they're super sweet. I'm not making any decisions and I want all your feedback and then I probably won't do it anyway. These friends don't really know how to take care of themselves, and so it's hard because we know how to take care of them and they're not listening to us. They need instant gratification and don't think through the consequences of their actions and not following through with their commitments, and so the problem is they're not dependable. So then we're like, okay, well I can't even depend on them even though they're a close friend, which is hard for us. Or maybe that's us. Maybe I'm the entertainer and I'm being undependable. So if I am, what can I do to make ground in this area and maybe become more dependable for my friends? And now we're kind of examining our close-knit group, right? So what do I do? Because I love Sally Joe. Is there a Sally Joe in here? No Sally Joe. Oh, good. Okay. So I love Sally Joe, but I'm kind of like, wow, she kind of is critical. I'm having a hard time when I'm with her because I'm feeling like crud when I leave. So what do I do? Because I love being with her. So what we do is we do not write anyone off. We can move friends to different categories, which is the best because we all have the ability to grow and change. We will never be perfect, but I have a girlfriend that I love her. Like I love her to pieces. She literally has a habitual gossip struggle. So I know if I'm going to her for some scoop, she has got it, literally. She knows who's getting divorced, who's like moving to a different city, whose husband just lost his job. I mean, she is so in the know, but I'm not telling her anything that I do not want repeated. So if I need something repeated, like I won the lottery, then I'm gonna tell her. So I've moved her once I figured this out, because I have trust issues, back to my childhood messaging, what I've been through. I know I have trust issues, so I know how important it is for me to have loyal friends. So she's a close friend, but she is not my best friend. I'm not being vulnerable with her with things that I need to have my trust issues addressed. We can have an assigned friend, and these are the great friends that are just in there for a season. You might have a common goal that you're doing, kids overlap, but you know they're kind of in this time of life, but it's not long term. Then we have acquaintances where we see each other at the grocery store, and we might act like we don't see each other. We might, it just depends on what's going on. The close friend. So we have a close friend, right? And this is the one that we trust with our hearts. We respect the relationship, we make an effort, and then we have our best friends. I mean, this is the tree of trust. We want to make time for them. We look forward to being with them. And then we have a purpose-based friend, and that is just deeper than deep than deep. And we know we share a common mission in life, a vision. They're not going anywhere. I have a very good, one of my best friends, and way back when I was like, okay, this is the deal. I'm kind of like a transitional friend. Like I kind of hop from back to why I hop, because I don't want to get too close to anybody. And she looked at me and she's like, Melanie, I'm not going anywhere. No one had ever told me that. And so she is a purpose-based friend. We're still best friends. Friends can change our lives. So I want us to take time to identify the type of friends that we need, the type of friend we need for our hearts in order to be vulnerable, in order to feel respected and valued, and the type of friends that we are to others. What are we offering our friendships? Back to your text with your strengths. Those are the things that you are offering the people around you. And that is so beautiful and needed. And I want us to take time to watch for these toxic patterns. You know, am I wrapped up in this critical pattern because I've been hanging out with someone that's critical? Oh my goodness, how much do we take on the traits of our friends? We end up looking like really the 5 people that we hang around the most in 5 years in general. And so how am I forming? What am I looking like? And then take time to recategorize. Become a healthy friend yourself. How do I become a non-toxic friend? Ask for help, learn to need healthy friendships, work through resistances, invite the truth about yourself. My friend says we can be such lousy sources of truth for ourselves. And so what am I believing about me in friendship? What am I believing about me in life? Do I know, have I embraced my strengths? Back to those you take from, you're sitting in coffee with someone and they're giving their time. Are you asking them about them? How many one-sided conversations have we been in? A ton. Paying attention to reciprocation, I think, is really important, and forgiveness. And so we're sitting here kind of evaluating the people we have around us. Is there somewhere I need to ask for forgiveness? And then ask these 3 questions to your friends. What do I do that pushes you away from me? What do I do that draws you towards me? How do you feel when you leave my presence? My hope is that you have at least one thing to noodle on. My second hope is that you will now pass this on to your daughters. Share with them some of these things that you've learned about yourself. Challenge them to name the strengths that they have. Think about themselves, and also think about who they are surrounding themselves with. What kind of friend they are, what kind of friend they need for their heart, to feel secure, to feel loved, to feel significant. Thank you for having me.
So grateful to have
Thank you.
Your words of wisdom are so helpful for us
thanks.
and for our girls. I know that having girls, it's really great to be able to know how to model good friendship and help them to be good friends because it extends our life.
It does.
It does.
It does.
So thank you so much, Melanie.
Thank
We're so
you.
grateful.